welcome to the WeightPull podcast, Stefani.
Thank you.
It's so nice to see you. As always with this podcast, it's a couple of technical issues in the beginning, but we got here. That's awesome. Awesome.
Me and technology, it's not really working.
No, but you should be good at dogs.
I am. Yes.
And that's the important part. That's
yes,
really
for sure.
good. Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Yeah. I know that a lot of people have seen your name. That's the WeightPull community on Facebook, at least. They have seen your name. But could we just start with you explaining a little bit who you are and how you came into dogs, and then let's see where we go from there.
Yes. I'm Stephanie. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm 39 years old. And I came into the dogs like almost 20 years ago, but I started with mixes of Staffords, Bulldogs, and we just had a nice time, like family dogs. And then I start to a little bit look into the sporting world of the dogs. And soon enough I was joining some conformation shows, and the sport was really small over here in this part of Europe back then. So we started a little group of friends and just make our own sporting days just in an open field, or it was not always appreciated by the people outside, but some people were really enjoying it, and from a distance were watching how we were just having fun with our dogs. And I went to some shows in Belgium back then, some sporting shows, and I competed a little bit with my dogs. In the meantime, I did a research to buy a pit bull, and when I finally had that, I started to compete it a little bit more in the sports, but different sports, like high jump and all this kind of stuff, but also weight pulling. But back in the days, it was on this part of Europe, it was really like weight pull with bait. You used a toy, and the dog was totally crazy and jumping and doing crazy stuff in the harness, but we didn't know any better, so we liked it. And the first time I saw a UPF pool in Belgium, and I was watching this, and it was so calm, and I thought it was really boring, But then I start to look more into it, and I start to appreciate what was the bond between the owner and the dog, because in the way I knew pulling, it was not a bond. It was just a toy, and the dog was following this toy. So in 2017, there was born a puppy in Italy. He came out of two of my own dogs I bred, and I sold a puppy to Italy, and later on I got me a little puppy back, and I had in my mind I will make this a weight pull dog. So without any clue, I start to train this dog, this puppy, just with the chain, because we didn't have a track or nothing. It was just chain work, and I was just walking the dog with the chain. And 13 months later, I put him in the track with maybe 2 or 3 times track experience when I traveled to France. Where he got on the track and did some little reps, but mostly it was just chain work. And my first competition with him was in 2018. He was like 14 months, I think. And I traveled with a good friend of mine to the Czech Republic, and compete with him in an APA pool. And he did really great. It was a nice show, nice dogs, and he made 2 times a third place in his class. So yeah, of course, really proud. Yeah, this was my first road. In this year, we traveled to so many countries, and I bring him to so many tracks. And by just going and competing, he built up his track experience. Later on, we could get a track and have a little bit our own trainings. But yeah, still I was very new, and the trainings I did on the way I think that was good. And yes, that's my dog Solo. He is now almost 9 years, and he had a really great career here in Europe. And yeah, I'm very proud of it. And yeah, really, my weight pool career with my dogs started with him. I got myself more knowledge about the sport, speaking to people in America, take tips from other people, and yeah, I end up with the training I think that works for me and my dogs, and it does. So now I have a few generations out from Solo. I have a few sons of him, and a lot of offspring is with friends of mine. I have also 2 of his grandchildren who started this season, their first season. So yeah, this was my start. And after now I'm into weight pool, the serious weight pool, 8 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was my travel, and yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm competing his son. I have one little son. He's almost 6 months, but I have one who make ADBA Ace of Ace 1. I'm competing with him now, and with the younger generations. And of course, I have one dog from America, and yeah, I can only say she's really awesome. So,
Yeah.
and this is just the start with her.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit me.
Yeah. That's really, really, really nice to hear. I think most of us started that way. We started a little bit because it looked funny, and it looked like a nice thing to do with our dogs. And then
Yes.
then some of us just got bitten real hard and can't stop.
Yep. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the weight pool sport was not really big in Europe. It really has grown in the last 8 years. I'm into the sports, and there is more and more people who's getting more serious, start to train more serious, really focused on the weight pool, and it's getting nicer year after year. So yeah, I can only be happy, and I can only say people be serious in this sport, and the more people, the more dogs, the better it will be. So yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started 2011, 10 or
Yeah.
20. Yeah, my first competition was 2011, and the way we do it up here is a little bit more obedience
Yes, I know
based.
it. I know it. I know the way. Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
but,
I've seen it, and I have really much respect for it, because I have terriers, and terriers want to go. And it would be very hard. Not all of them, because Solo, for example, if I had learned him in that way, he would be perfect for that, because he's really obedient. But his son, no,
no
no
way.
way, no way.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see when I at least the yeah, pretty much after the pandemic, when I look at videos from all over Europe, the way of pulling has changed a lot since 2012, 2013.
Yes, a lot. Yes.
Yeah, it's like when you said in the beginning, the picture I had when you looked at especially the formerly Eastern Bloc countries, it was baiting and a lot of stress. But now it's it looks really, really good.
The dogs know what they are doing in this on this moment, and before that was not, that didn't exist. The dogs didn't know. They just follow the toy, and yeah, of course the dogs will win because they are totally crazy. But now in the end, I can see it's not good for the dogs. it's not good for the head of the dogs, and learn your dog in the right way. It will bring you a dog that knows what he's doing, and he will not harm himself in any way. So
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a really safe sport in that way when you do it correctly, because
yes,
yeah, the pressure from the harness, that's not that big when they don't jump into the harness
no,
all the time. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's awesome. So, how many dogs do you have at home now? I've seen some pictures online.
I have 7 dogs at home.
7 dogs at the
Yeah,
moment. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I saw they prefer to lay in the same bed at least.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are very. They are one happy family.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's awesome. And it's all pit bulls now for you?
One more time.
It's all pit bulls
Yes,
for
it's
you
all
now?
pit
Yeah.
bulls, and all of them except for the American dog are family.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
And you weight pull with all of them?
Except for the old lady. I sold her as a puppy. She is the full sister of Solo's father.
Okay.
So, but she came back to me at 5 years, and she wasn't the sporting dog. She's also not really built for a sporting dog.
No.
She's a little bit crooked.
Yeah.
Funny dog to see, but it's not a sporting dog. And no, she is just enjoying life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure all the boys behave. I
Yeah, yeah,
presume.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then all the rest, yes, they pulling. Solo is retired now. I retired him since this year. Because yeah, you come to a point. I'm kind of competitive, and you come to a point you can see your dog will not make it against the younger dogs. And yeah, this was the time. So yeah, sometimes he can join us for training because he loves pulling. He's really happy when he's in the track, but not for serious business anymore. No, yeah,
No, exactly. Yes, just for fun for him, but when
just
it
for
comes to
fun.
competition, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
I
the
have his
younger.
kids. I have his grandkids. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they are as good or better than the father or grandfather?
In my opinion, they are better. The mind
Yeah.
is better because my training was better.
Yeah.
I learned, I gained some experience, and yeah, that experience you put in your dogs. So yes, their mind is much better. Solo was a dog who could stop kind of easily. Because yeah, I learned him that. Also in the drag training, he was just walking, and then he was sniffing and stopping, and I allowed everything of that. And with the younger dogs, I didn't. It's work, and the sniffing and stuff. It's after work and before work, and they know that. So they are dogs whose mind is stronger, much stronger. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so when it comes to the training, how often do you train, and how does it look like?
I train only 3 times a week. I train one day, and the next day I rest, and one time a week they have 2 days of rest. I think rest is very important, and I think also they need something else than only weight pull. I do 2 times a week a drag training with the chain, and one time a week I go to the track, or I use my own track, or I go to friends and we have a friendly training. And yeah, that we do for years. So yeah, I start my mornings really early, and I'm in the forest like 5 o'clock in the morning. Um, I don't want to meet people. You know, I live in the city, and I just want to drag my dogs in private and not in front of eyes, because people are people, and the most people won't understand this sport. So yeah, I go to the forest like 5 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, when it's getting light later, I'm dragging the first dog in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then later it's lighter, and then I can see everything again.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Do you
I train
train one
four
dog at a
dogs.
time,
Yeah,
or
I
yeah?
train one dog at a time, and then I train now on the moment 5 dogs with the little puppy. So yeah, it's a few hours on these mornings that I'm working on them. Yeah.
So how far do you go when you do the drag working?
A maximum of 500 meters, because I drag them really heavy, and everything above that, I think it's too much. So I have a short hard training. Yeah.
And when you start like with the puppy, how do you go longer then, or do you still have the 500 meters?
No, I go to up like 1 kilometer because it's really light work, and they are running and doing stuff. I start to decrease the distance when the dog comes to a point that it starts to work more. I take it always really slow with the puppies, so the most of the first months it's really light and they can move really easily, and then I build it up till a point they start to work, and then I decrease the distance. It's also depending on the weather and everything, because the ground can be different like every day. And sometimes I drag the puppies also in other places with other surfaces, so they learn to work in every surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you drag on a like a dirt road, or is it like more gravel, or is it
forest?
Yeah, forest.
Yeah. So it's like a little bit sand. It can be harder sometimes and lighter sometimes. In the midsummers, it's when it's really dry. It's not so. I don't like it so much. My surface is the best when it's not too wet, but also not too dry.
Yeah.
And the last few years in Holland, the summers are crazy. We have no rain, and we are used to rain, so I must admit that this season, and it was really tough because I have a lot of dogs to work, but it was too dry, so my trainings weren't as good as I wanted them to be. But still the dogs did rock in their shows, and in the end everything was fine. So
and it's easy to get a little bit picky when you're at that level about everything. But what's the big issue when it's too dry for you? Is it the paws for the dogs, or is it that the chain runs
it's getting
so
more
easy?
slippery because you have the path, and the path is getting really hard because it's dry. But there is always a little bit of sand, and the sand is getting dry also, so it starts to move when the dogs move, and because of the hard ground, it's getting more slippery. But it's really hard here to find the perfect place. I think nothing is the perfect place, but also because I live in the city and I cannot be picky about my place. So with the puppies, it's more easy. You can find some other places, shorter places to maybe go and back, but with the adult dogs, it's hard to find a good place to work the dogs on a good hard way, so it's so I have only that place.
And it's nice to have the same place as well, because then
it.
And especially when it's the other way around, when it's been heavy raining, because then it's going to be really, really tough for the dogs.
Yes. The same with very, very dry. It's also very, very wet. Is really hard because everything is muddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The nice thing about that is what I like is that they learn to work also through the water. And I don't want my dogs to go around this. I want them to walk just one straight way, and if they have to cross the water, they cross the water. So that's also what I like, to learn them to work also in these circumstances. And in Holland is a very rainy country, so we have a lot of rain, so the dogs need to learn to work in the rain, because I cannot really choose to drag in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening. So when it rains, it rains.
Yeah.
And I have to go.
Yeah.
So I don't need dogs that don't like to be in the rain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands isn't that big of a country like surface-wise, so I can imagine it's hard to find places because it's
Yes,
pretty much
because
cities all the way around.
everything is concrete.
Yeah,
You need to have a little bit field of grass or something like that, or forest. And you also need a place where you can park your car close by, so you don't have to lift all these chains to another part. So yeah, it's not always easy.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, I've been down there a couple of times, most for
Yeah.
confirmation shows, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it's it's a beautiful country, and it's a lot of dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
dog country.
It's
Yeah,
really a dog country.
Yeah.
Yes.
all
Yes, for
kind of
sure.
breeds. But we had Marco with the Staffordshire Bull Terriers
Yeah.
a year ago, and he talked about that it's not. I think it was him at least that it's not legal with weight pulling in Holland. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
so how do you work around that?
Yeah, to work them at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And don't meet, hoping to not meet any people. You know, sometimes I meet, there is one, it's an older man, and he walks with his little, I don't know how to put, a case dog, you
Yeah,
know? And he loves it. He loves it. He walks with me when I drag my dogs, and my dogs are not really hard with other dogs. So my dogs are just working, and the little dog is walking next to them, and the man is talking to me. He loves it, but most of the people don't understand what is a working dog, and there is a difference between when your dog walks with a 5 kilo chain and he moves and he can run and everything, then a dog that you can see it's working really hard. And in the people's eyes, it's abuse. So yeah, I just don't like to meet people when I'm training my dogs.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I've been called a lot of bad things when I was training my dogs, and
Yes.
it's interesting how people can't see a dog that engages both body and mind fully without thinking it's abuse.
Yeah.
And the dogs loves it. It's
Yeah.
it's interesting, and even so-called dog people can't see it. It's
No, you
crazy.
need to know the sport, and you should be interested in the sport to learn about it and to appreciate it.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
with most people, it just isn't.
No.
So yeah.
But regarding the law there, it's not the sport of weight pulling that's forbidden. It's something with the dogs can't pull anything. Yeah.
No, it's about a law that was made in, like, I think it's 1960, something around that, and that was when the dogs was working in front of the big carts for the milk and this kind of stuff, where the dogs were walking like maybe 12 hours in bad conditions. But this law was in all of Europe. Just all the other countries don't compare this with the sport of weight pull.
Exactly.
But Holland does.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just bad luck.
Yeah.
The wrong country for this sport.
Yeah. But it's interesting when it's such a dog country, and a lot of other dog sports are big in Holland and still, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same with politicians all over the world. Yeah. They don't understand.
They don't understand.
No. So when you compete, you need to go outside of Holland. So where do you typically go? You named everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere. Belgium, Germany. I've been to France this year. I've been to Greece last week. Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic. I haven't been there for the past 2 years, but before I was there. Slovakia, I've been in the past. I've been there only one time, but I was there. I've been to Italy to pull. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but you're pretty good located in that way, because it's a lot of hours, but it's you're kind of central anyways?
Not really.
Not
We
really.
have to travel. We have to travel always
Yeah.
long to all those countries. The only thing that is close is Germany and Belgium. But yeah, we always have to travel long hours. But we always travel together with friends and with several cars and with many dogs. And yeah, we make it like our little holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. And
Yes.
I know we talk about here in Scandinavia, when you need to drive more than 2 hours, people think it's a long way to go.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden I spoke with people in the States, and they like have a 36-hour drive.
Yeah. I really respect that, because I will not drive 36 hours.
No. That's
I'm
way too far.
crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I think like 17, 18 hours max. That's more than enough. So I really respect those who drive 30 plus hours. The way to Greece from here was also like 30 plus hours, but we went by airplane.
Yeah.
With just one dog.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's the way easier. It should be way easier, but it wasn't for you when you came back, at least this time.
No. I felt really welcome in my own country.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah, like always. That's great. And when you, at least now you competed with the EWPO this season.
Yes.
But you go to all different organizations, or
pull the most. In the past, it was here in Europe. It was like ADBA, APA, and UPF. But UPF kind of changed into EPF. That's one organization. APA is disappeared from Europe. So I still pull in ADBA and EWPO. So EWPO is the newest organization. I'm also the board member of this organization. We build it up. It's still small. But it's growing. So yeah, that is the three organizations we pull under. And of course, there is always, especially in like Poland, is very much fun shows. Who also one by one leave away the debate and start for professional pulling. So yeah, it's really growing in Europe.
Yeah, it feels like it's really growing. That's true. And what was the reason that you started the not you as a not you, only you, but the EWPO, because
we wanted something more besides ADBA and EPF, and we built something that with the rules is between the ADBA and the EPF. So some things we didn't like about their rules, and some things we don't like about the ADBA rules. So yeah, we are in the middle of that. For example, with ADBA, you can have 2 faults. But in my opinion, when your dog cannot pull a weight, I always try only one time more, because sometimes you are lucky and the dog can pull it the second time. But if it cannot pull the first time and it cannot pull the second time, it will not pull the third time, and it pushes people to try just one more time, and I don't like that. In EPF, for example, there is no fault, so you don't even have a second chance, and that's also what I don't like. So we are just in the middle, and we have one fault. So you can try 2 times, and then it's finished. And so there are some rules we made like in between of the both organizations, and like this we start up something new.
Yeah, that's nice, and it's quite interesting, because that's the only organization, I think, besides the EWPL here in Scandinavia that actually has a European foundation. Otherwise, it's APA or UPF or EWPA.
Well, APF also. APF is in German, Czech, and I think Spanish. people who are behind the board, and the judges, the board members come from all of Europe. So EPF is also an European organization. It is also not the old UPF. They changed the rules also in the way of pulling. Oh yeah, UPF and APA are just gone. EWPO and EPF are European organizations. Just EWPO is still a little small, and EPF is a really big organization over the years. Yeah.
And you had the big championship in France this year, I think, and it went really good for you.
It went really good. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yes.
But most of the tracks are on rails with the EWPO. Yeah.
I think overall in Europe the most tracks are rails. I think Denmark have one on wheels, and I think in Sweden, but I think overall here it's not. There was when APA Europe was in Germany, there was also a track on wheels. But they don't do anything for over years, so we are not able to pull on that track anymore. But in 2018, 2019, I pulled on a track on wheels also.
And I think we're gonna see a change up here as well. Well, Norway, I think, gonna still have the wheels on dirt. I mean, but in Sweden, I think it's gonna be more rail tracks. Especially, it's easier to move them and to maybe have maintenance on them as well. It's not as tricky as the dirt track.
I also like more pulling on the rails than on dirt and with wheels.
It's a big debate over here, and it's where you have people on both sides, so to speak. And it's like interesting. Always. Like always. But do you ever competed with what's that? There was some joint championship before the pandemic. EWPAS. They only had a championship once a year.
Yes, once a year was a championship, and you could qualify to them by pulling for different organizations.
Yeah.
Did you ever compete qualify there? You could compete in the championships. I did with Solo, I think 2 or 3 times. And I think all the times he made the 3rd place in his class. But that at one point they didn't do it anymore. No. So they also disappeared.
As always, it's a lot of work to have an organization, and if you only have one competition a year, it's even harder to make it. To get people to volunteer and
the last years it combined with the UPF championships or the EPF championships, so it was 2 championships in one weekend. And I think that really worked, but I don't know why they stopped it.
No.
So
no, it's a pity. I went down to Germany to Torsten. He had I think it was 2017. I was
there too.
Yeah, you was. That was kind of my worst competition ever. But it was really, really fun to meet all the guys, and it was a lot of people, and
and it's really nice track to pull on.
And the whole area was really, really nice. With, like a restaurant and everything. That was really, really good. So I like that concept to join all the European organizations at once, because it's the rules doesn't differ that much. Our rules are quite different, but but we can always compete with the other guys. It makes it, I shouldn't say easier, because it's a different way of pulling, but at least for me. I made all the wrong things you could do in a competition with that one. So it was really, really, it was a really nice competition. So how? Oh, I forgot. So how does the future look now for you next year? Is there any big competitions, special competitions you're looking forward to?
Probably I try to join every competition of the EWPO. I try to go to every competition of EWPO. Most of the time that's Belgium, Germany, Poland, Hungary, Greece. I'm not sure because I will not drive, so I have to go by plane again.
Yeah.
So we will see. We will see for the next year, and I hope.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah,
go back with my American dog to also meet the breeder finally, and to have a great time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How
And
long
meet
have you had that dog?
She is almost 1 year old, and she was here in April this
Yeah.
year.
Oh.
She came as a puppy, almost a 5-month-old puppy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's I looked at the both ADBA and the UPF nationals, and yeah, would be really nice to go over there and just
Yeah.
see how everything. It feels like it works quite different, or because you do also in EWPO and ADBA over here. You do it also by weight class, or do you do it in one continuous show?
One continuous show.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's in Europe the ADBA competitions are quite big.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes we have like 60-70 dogs in the competition, and if you go by class, it will be a lot of work because a lot of dogs pull a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's much more easier, and I also prefer it because the dogs are resting in between. They have a good rest, and the muscles can rest, and they can sleep a little bit. And when it's smaller, when you have to do it class by class, it's like the dogs have to pull a lot. And yeah, I prefer that they rest and sleep. We always have long competitions.
Yeah.
Because it's really a lot of dogs, and the dogs are getting better, so they pull more,
Exactly.
and they are longer in the competition. So yeah, we do it all in one.
In one continuous. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was news to me when I saw the nationals, and in my world, I'm so Scandinavian in my weight pulling. So I've been learning a lot this year when it comes to all the international way of doing it. So it was, it blew my mind. And now it's quite interesting that that's the same thing that you do. Even in the EWPO, that's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. I can remember the APA championships in 2018. We did it in 2 divisions. We just split the 2 division, the 4 divisions. We split them and we did it in 2. But yeah, it's also like I say, you have to lift the stones double.
Yeah.
You know, they have to go on the cart. They have to take off the cart. It's double work, and it takes double time. And yes, in one time the competition takes it takes a long time, but you only have to do everything once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me it's more easy. Yeah.
And you change judges during the day then, so you don't have only one judge that stands there.
There is always a few judges around who can judge. So sometimes there is a judge that judge one part and another judge that judged another part. But there is always several judges around, as well as in EWPO and also in ADBA.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's good. But it needs, because I can remember when I was down in the EWPAS, then it was a lot of it was a huge holding area where all the dogs sat. I think there we did light, medium, and heavyweight categories separate, but it was a lot of dogs, but then so it needs a lot of space, I presume. Yeah, to just make sure that all the dogs are at each place.
Then the ADBA shows are kind of big, and most of the time they are held on a big location, so there is enough space.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's very interesting to to open my eyes and look at how it looks all over the place. Yeah, I need to go more international.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Lasse had he had a Nordic championship. I'm not sure what kind of rules they used, but it was quite nice at least to join the different organizations a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think they went by EWPO rules. Two of my friends were there from Belgium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it sounded like a nice show. But I was in Hungary on the same weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the season is quite long with the ADBA.
Yeah.
Do you do all year round, or is there a part of the season that's
ADBA starts normally in May with the Belgium show, and this year it ended with the Greece show in November.
Okay. Yeah.
Last year it ended in October with the Hungary show, because this was Greece's first show. And last year was Hungary's first show. ADBA is growing, so more countries are becoming a club and start to held ADBA shows. So who knows? Next year it will be end in December. I think we cannot tell by now, or maybe in the future it will start in February. I hope not, because it's really cold.
It's really cold.
But
only Spain and Greece or Italy are allowed to have
something like
competitions.
that.
Yeah, because that's a big thing. Most of the European shows are outdoors as well, I think. Yeah, and then the weather all of a sudden is quite important. Yeah.
Yeah, but I must admit, the last 2 years we have kind of good weather around all shows. So I'm happy with that. The climate is changing, and you can see that. Yeah. So we this year also we don't have really rainy events or something like that. Just nice, a little bit sunshine, and
Yeah, that's good. But are there any shows that you've been on that is indoors? Because we typically here has at least one or two in the beginning of the season that's indoors.
Yeah. Not really. In Belgium, for example, at one location the track is indoors, but not the full show.
Okay.
Because it's really big. ADBA is really big. I think it's not possible to get it all inside. At one time, the APA Championships was indoors. Yeah, it was also October, really cold in the Czech Republic, and that was indoors. But the holding area was outdoors.
Yeah.
So it was only the track what was indoors, and the people who were watching, the crowd was indoors. But that was the only thing, the only one I think that really was the full show indoors. But with ADBA, I think it's not possible because it's really big.
Yeah. If you have 60, 70 dogs that need to be in the holding area at once, it's quite impossible to have it indoors. At least you need to have a really, really big building in that case. And
to have all the dogs around. In America it happens. I see it. They have a little bit big spaces. I think here in Europe maybe that's harder to find or something like that, and not everyone is waiting for a pit bull show, and especially in some countries it's really hard to find a place where you can hold this show, so you can be happy you find something outdoors where you can have it. So
yeah, that's true. Is there? Are you alone in Holland for pulling, or is there?
No. There are more people. My good friends are also pulling. We are not with many. I think we are the two serious people who are pulling. Yeah. So it is Belgium and Holland is really small. Germany also with weight pullers. It's more to the other side where there's much more pullers. So yeah, that's why we also have to travel all the time very far to compete in a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that the Czech Republic, it's quite big.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
also Hungary as well. Or
Hungary also. Yeah, and
yeah,
Poland.
or
Poland.
Poland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are the
Poland.
countries where are the most sporting dogs. They have a lot of sporting dogs. And you can see when there is shows in those countries that there are more dogs from inside the country, because not everybody travels over all Europe. So
Exactly.
when you are in Poland, you see twice as much dogs than when you go to another country, because not all Polish dogs are coming that way.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's the Poland show is I think is the biggest of Europe, and for me the nicest. I really enjoy my time over there. So yeah, and that's always a lot of shows, of a lot of dogs, as well for confirmation as top dog and weight pool. So for me, that's the show every year I really wait for. You know, I really love that show. And the same counts for Germany show. I really love that show also. But the last years they had it separate. So they had the top dog and confirmation in a different weekend than the weight pool.
Okay, yeah.
This year was the first year again they did it in one weekend. So it was all in one place, and yeah, that was also very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But is there weight pool only one day then, or is it
Depends.
both? Yeah,
Depends if there is one pool or two pools.
Yeah.
Most of the competition are two weight pools, and there are never two weight pools on one day.
No.
Because it's too much. It's
Yeah.
too long. So sometimes it's Friday, Saturday, but it happens also this year. The first one was at Thursday, and the next one was at Saturday. So the
Okay.
dogs can rest in between, and they have the top dog on Friday,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
good.
normally the confirmation is Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And you do the confirmation as well, or is it just no?
Yeah, I do it with my puppies.
Yeah.
I like to do it with the puppies also for the socialization, to learn them, and I just like to do it with the puppies. My solo is an EWPO champion. He made it into confirmation to the champion class. In the champion class, he's not doing that well. So for me, it's wasting my money. And yeah, he just stay home and have a chill at home with my son when I'm abroad with the kids.
Yeah. But do you think confirmation is important for you as a breeder, or do you
No.
Do you just
No.
solely focus on the weight pulling?
We have a working dog breed.
Yeah.
And not a confirmation breed. And I think people who only focus on the confirmation are focusing on the wrong stuff. I think a dog that proved himself in work is much more important for our breed than a dog that proves to be a nice dog by your opinion of somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Work is better than looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a working dog breed. You know, they are not bred to look good. My bacon is not in confirmation. He will not take nothing at home. But he's a great working dog. Yeah, and that for me is much more important. And he proved himself. He's now 4 years old, and he made it to Ace of Ace 1, the first of Europe. He was the first Ace of Europe, and he was the first Ace of Ace 1 of Europe. And that within 2 years, 2 seasons. Yeah.
That's
so
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
He is nice, but for confirmation, the judge will probably not even look at him. No.
Yeah, and that's I had an idea like 10 years ago or something that I should prove the American Staffordshire confirmation world, that you can have a good confirmation dog and a good working dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, after a couple of years, I realized that there will be some dogs that can do both, but
Yeah.
they are outliers
Yes,
in
but
both ways. Yeah,
yes, for sure. But that's also the same with your dog is often, or it's good in pulling, or it's good in top dog, because you train in very different ways. And there are dogs who are good in everything, but for sure not all of them. So yeah, for me that's why I also just enjoy the sport. It's a calm sport. When I am at the show and I'm looking at the top dog people, and I see them running and sweating, and they go from the one thing to the other thing, and I'm already tired when I look at
yeah,
them. So yeah, I like to just sit and wait my turn and take my dog and go into the track. So yeah, it's yeah, it's two different worlds.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think it's possible to have a dog that is good in everything. Um, but it's not the easiest task. I think also, like my solo, he's good in weight pull, and he was also good in conformation. Just in the champion ring, he is not so good. But yeah, he's a nice dog for both. But yeah, I prefer working. Yeah, conformation is just with a dog that does it nice, and it's worth the money, because it's not cheap.
no, no,
Yeah, yeah.
that's true. So when it comes to that, how much does it cost to enter a dog in a weight pull show in EWPO?
That depends on the organizer.
Yeah,
It can, some say 15 euros, the others say 20 euros, maybe the others say 25 euros. In ADBA, the last year it's 30 euros. And they all have the same
okay, yeah,
price. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, it depends.
yeah. And the confirmations are even more, or is
No,
there?
the confirmation is the same.
Yeah, that's the same. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not sure about top dog, but I think it's also the same. That it's just all one price.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds more logic. That it's the same for everything. Yeah, yeah. I think we have over here. We have like 40 euros, pretty much.
yeah,
Each show, but we need to have a veterinarian all the shows.
yeah.
So it's a
Yes,
lot of money that goes to there.
yes,
At least in Sweden. But yeah,
yeah. Also
okay,
Finland, Finland
yeah,
had it. Yeah,
exactly. They
yeah.
have a better pricing situation, I think. So it's not as much, but it's still a lot of money that goes
Yes, yes,
to the
yes.
veterinarian. But it's nice to get the check
Yeah,
before
for
every
sure,
show. Yeah,
for sure. We have it in ADBA. Most ADBA shows, there's also a vet who check everything.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I forgot to ask when we talked about training. You trained 3 times a week, the weight pulling, and then you have a lot of rest time between. Not a lot, but it's 4 days a week. But yeah, and you said that it was important for the dogs to do other stuff as well. So what is the other
yeah.
stuff
Just
that you do?
just the walking,
Yeah,
playing ball, having fun, walking the mill, or something like that. Just be dogs.
yeah, just
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So you use a meal as well?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, a carpet meal or a
I
sled
have
meal?
both. I
Both?
have
Okay, yeah,
both, but
of
for
course.
the weight pullers, I prefer the carpet mill, because it's heavier. It's a heavier workout,
Yeah,
and I think it trains the same muscles like the weight pull. They also train. I have a mill especially made for a weight pull harness. So yeah, they it's like dragging.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And the
yeah.
other mill I use sometimes to just let them run, and yeah, yeah. But I don't use it really in training.
No,
So
it's more for fun. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
And that's a thing I never used. So I'm quite interested in the usage of it, especially up here when it's now I have a lot of snow outside,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's it would be nice to be able to train indoors then.
Yes,
Yeah, in the
yes,
basement.
yes. And
Yeah,
now on the moment, my dogs are into winter stop. So now they will not pull for like 2-3 months. and then we start again to train. So now overall we just walk and play and use the mill, but nothing into weight pull on this moment.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that's I'm leaning more and more on having an off season where they don't pull and then just do other stuff and get to eat a little bit more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do you feed kibble or do you do raw kibbles?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I feel kibble.
Yeah.
You feed kibble. Yeah, I'm bad in raw. I forget to take it from the freezer, and Holland is a very expensive country, and to be honest, with 7 dogs, for me it's impossible to feed them all raw. Yeah. So yeah, I give them a nice kibble. They do well on it, and I add some supplements when they are in training. And yeah, I never had a dog. I feed the same kibble for 15 years. No, 13 years almost. And yeah, I never had a dog that didn't do well on it. So yeah, for me, I'm a person. If something works, I don't change it.
No.
Yeah.
That is no reason to change it when
No.
it works. Yeah.
Yep.
And do you do any like a keep before competitions or do you just train on?
Because we have like every month we have a show, and we in Europe we attended at least every EWPO show. In America, it's of course it's really big over there. So some people are going there and some people are going there. But in Europe, everyone comes to every competition. That's the most simple way I can say it. So yeah, we train all year long. Yeah, and they have enough rest between. They have rest before a show. They have rest after a show. And we train like from, I think, February till the end of the season, and then they go into rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. The same way pretty much all people up here do it as well. Yeah. So during the season you train and maybe you train a little bit less the week where it's the competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
With me, they have like 1 week off before the competition.
Yeah.
So we just go outside, pool, pee, we eat, and we sleep and do nothing. We just rest. And the same after a competition. And it can happen that I have one competition and in 2 weeks I have another competition, and I just let them rest. I will not pick up the training and start training again. I just let them rest and save the energy and power for the competitions.
Yeah. When they are young, do you do a little bit more track work before the first competition, or do you let like you did with solo, let the competitions be the training?
No, but with solo, we didn't have a track. The first track my friend made was from pellets, and we just put little wheels under it, and we put like a carpet on a wooden plate, and we just pull like that, and it went like this every way. It didn't work really great, but yeah, you can give the dogs some experience they need. But now the last years we have a track, so at least once a week we train every week together. Sometimes I go in my own garden, but yeah, when it's rainy and cold, I don't feel like it. I travel to my friends and we train over there together. So yeah, once a week the dog is the puppy is on the track. Yeah. But it could be more, but I think it's fine.
That's enough because you also do the drag work, and it's actually work, not just a walk with weights.
Yes. And it works for my dogs. The way I train them for the past years, it works. So yeah, I don't need to do more or less. So yeah, I keep it like this. And when I have a dog that I see it won't work for it, I can change. I can always change something. But yeah, for now it's there is no need to.
No. As you said before, if it works, why change it? So that's wise to keep it the same. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Do you think when I trained, I didn't have a track to go to, so I went to a track maybe maximum once a month, maybe
Yeah.
once every other month, but it went really good anyways. Do you think that it's necessary to have a track, or is
I think it's very good when you have a track. Of course, it's always better to have a track around or have a track yourself than don't have one. Um, but yeah, it's not always possible, and that's the thing. And now I have a track at my home, but the last 8 years I didn't have. I travel every week or to Belgium. That's 2 hours to go there and 2 hours back. Or I train at my friends, what is like 1 hour and 15 minutes there and back. So yeah, I'm always traveling for the past 8 years every weekend. So yeah, yeah, when you want something, you have to do something.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but that's true, and it's that's I think one of the reasons the sport is growing slowly, but I think it's still growing. Is that it's hard, and this is one of the things that is hard. You can't just buy a track. It's There's no website with weightpull tracks yet, at
No,
least. But
no.
so and then you need to travel, or you need to do the hard work to get
Yeah,
in
and
the training.
when you are a little bit handy, you can build yourself a track. It can be in very easy ways. I see tracks that was built with pallets, and just the rails on it, and a cart made by pallets, and it works.
Yeah,
It can be really easy, but yeah, I'm a girl.
yeah,
I cannot make one. I
no,
know how to pull my dogs,
yeah,
but yeah, no, that is not my thing. So yeah, it would be more easy if you find tracks more easy for the
of
people
course.
who cannot build
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
of course. Yeah, another thing when it comes to the track training, the chain work, you said you did short and heavy, pretty much. But how do you do the track training? Is it
Yeah,
still heavy, or do you?
it ends heavy. Yes,
Yeah, is it
I
but more?
train like competition wise.
Yeah,
I start light and I go too heavy to their max and finish. Yeah, yeah,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the best way to prepare a dog on weights he will have in the competition. Because I think when you don't prepare your dog for the heavy weights and always train light, the dog can be shocked in competition. So
yeah,
he needs to know what to do.
yeah.
And the main thing in the weight pool is the start. When a dog don't know how to start the weight, it will not pull.
That's
So
true.
yeah, that's why I train like heavy, so they always know how to start and always will try to start. If they can, I will help them. Um, I would be the last to let my dog for 1 minute and wait till he finally starts it, because when I see my dog digs for like 5 or 10 seconds and I see the cart don't move, I tell them help. When I have another shot, I will try it one more time, and when I see the same, I will help. So yeah, um, but I think I think it's important to work also on the
Yeah,
heavier weights. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's especially wh- when you do heavy chain work, you get a lot out of that. But it's, as you said, it's a different thing to start a cart. It's
Yes.
harder many times, and
Yes.
yeah, without that experience, it's hard for them to know what
Yes,
to do.
because the
Yeah,
chain and the track is two different things, and the dog will not think, oh, I will pull here the same like I pull with the chain. The dog don't think. So I think it's the experience on the track can be very important. I think I also was very lucky with Solo that he just naturally was so good. Um, yeah. So without he didn't have much experience. He really lacked that. So yeah, I was lucky. But I think it's really important that the dog knows how to pool, and the only thing is to get them in the track and get them the experience they need.
That's
Yeah.
true. Do you see that breedings from ace dogs are that they are more naturally inclined to know what to do on the cart, or?
Well, I see a huge difference between the American dogs who are selected on weight pool for many generations. We don't have them here in Europe. We have these few dogs that are import from America, like mine, but we don't have this selection over here. Our dogs come from game dogs, conformation dogs, sporting dogs. That is our selection over all the time. I'm working on it to select on the weight pool. There was a kennel before in Spain who did the selection on weight pool, but he stopped. So
Okay.
he don't breed anymore. So yeah, I would like to build a line based on weight pool. But yeah, it takes many years because we don't have that here.
No. So you saw a big difference when you got the American puppy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, huge difference.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can see it's in them. Yeah. They have the form, they have the mind. Of course, it will also be the part of what the breeder puts into the puppy, because when you import a puppy, yeah, you will have the puppy like when it's close 5 months. So yeah, the breeder of my puppy did a really great job to start her. Yeah. So yeah, she's amazing, and she is beating all our dogs, our European dogs, in training. And she's not even a year old. So yeah, I'm really curious about the future, but I really see the difference between the American dogs who are selected on it and the European dogs who aren't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's the way it should be, I think. When the breeding actually works, and it's nice to hear that it's that way in the reality also. Yeah.
Yes. It's really nice, and I'm used to the European dogs. I only see and had European dogs, so it's really nice to see something different.
Yeah.
She's something different. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. And you will compete with her next year?
Yes, I already compete with her.
Okay. Yeah.
We start last Hungary. And she become second place in a 10 dogs class, second place, and then she compete in the European EWPO championships, and she managed to place first with the MVP and an MVP.
Yeah.
And of course I took her to Greece last week.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
also there she did really great, and placed first and MVP from the lightweight. So yeah, she's doing really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home run dog from the beginning.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, she's amazing. The breeders did a really great job
Yeah.
making that litter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where I think I know, but you can tell me what breeder in the US did you buy her
Oh,
from?
they are Tim and Megan Cochran. They don't have the kennel name, but they are. It was their first litter together, and yeah, it's really a great litter. All puppies are doing very well. So yeah, I'm really happy for them. They
Awesome.
did it. They did it really good. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's nice, and
Yes.
even better when it's the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Awesome, great. I actually I don't really have anything else I can remember at least now, Stephanie. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Is there anything you think that we haven't brought up that you want to tell us?
No, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. No, not really.
No, not really.
I think we had like everything.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, it was really nice talking to you at least, and yeah, one of the things I need to do is I need to go down in Europe and watch more shows and
Yes,
attend.
it would be great meeting you.
Yeah.
I must say again, because we probably have seen each other
Yeah.
on the EW, this name from
Yeah.
this organization in
TAS. Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long time ago. So yeah, it would be great. Maybe you have to come one day to an ADBA show and just taste it. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. The world of the pit bull is opening up for me. So
Yes.
I have a lot to learn, and it's
Well, you are
really
very
interesting.
welcome.
Thank
It
you. Thank you
would be
very
great.
much.
Yes.
Yeah, I would enjoy that very much. So with that, thank you very much for joining. And
Yeah, you
yeah,
too. Thank you for the interview.
that's great. So awesome. And yeah, goodbye to everybody. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.